Welcome back to Cedar Porch Homestead. I'm JR, and as you can see, we are in the shop. We're not outside. We're not sweating anymore because the temperature outside is 92 degrees. It is June. It is warm in South Texas, and I needed a day off. Because what I haven't really shared with you guys is this is not my everyday 9-to-5 job, and I really don't even have a 9-to-5 job. I'm a shift worker. I haven't really even talked about what I do for a living, and it's time to share. I'm not going to say who I work for, but I am a firefighter, and I work for the third largest fire department in the nation. So I'm pretty busy, and I've been doing that for a little over 18 years now. And I feel like I need to share that with you guys because if I don't share that with you, then you don't have an idea of how much it takes to actually keep a homestead going, even if it is on a small scale like your backyard. It's a family affair. Now, I talk a lot of times of like coming off shift, or I have to go to work, or I have to do those things because I'm gone from the house at 24 hours at a time. And right now, I'm typically working 60 plus hours a week off the homestead or away from our house. So it takes a lot for our family to really just keep these projects going, and it's an all-in experience. Today I just needed a day off. I've got a lot of projects going on right now here at the house, and I really am looking forward to sharing those with you. I think they're really cool, but they're outside and it's hot, and I needed a day off. I needed to just but I wanted to share that with you guys because you have to be able to take that break. Not only do you have to be able to take that break for your own mental well-being and your own physical health, but you need people here at your homestead, in your family, to help pull the weight when you're not able to. When you come in and you don't have 110%, maybe you're coming in and you only have 20, 25% to give. The rest of your family's gonna have to chip in and pull that extra weight so that you don't feel like it's all on your shoulders. When we moved out of the city, it was because I needed to get away from people. I needed no neighbors. I wanted good fences. I didn't want to talk to anyone outside of the job. And I said, now I'm working 60 plus hours a week. Well, then I was working at least 96 to 100 hours a week. I was busy. I was actually a medic. Well, I'm still a medic, but that's only in certification. In job title, back then, I was a full-time medic. I was on the squads and the medics, making 15 plus calls a day. Every single day I was at work. We were busy. We were up 24 hours at a time, and I needed to just escape. That was a little bit more than what I was able to handle at the time, and it was wearing on my own personal health. Now, while my own health was a concern, my wife has battled her own health concerns for probably the last forever, since she was a teenager. I remember when she was 25, she went to the doctor and walked away with 5 prescription medications that were lifelong medications. They were going to be daily medications prescribed to her that she needed to take every single day for the rest of her life. And she had an aha moment at 25 years old that that's not how we're supposed to live. And she started a journey of health and wellness based off of dietary and nutritional needs and environmental, like what was impacting her environmentally. And I was kind of along for the ride. Now, we both come from an agriculture background. We both have degrees in agriculture, and that kind of facilitated our mentality of what agriculture was and where our food came from, but more on an industrial and commercial scale, not necessarily a health food scale, because we've done fad diets. We've done those things to lose weight quick, but it's not all about losing weight. It's about living a healthy lifestyle. So we left the hustle and bustle. We moved out on our small acreage, which was about 7.5 acres. And we got us some chickens, which are the gateway animal to homesteading. So if you're at that point, you don't have chickens yet, and you get chickens, you're well on your way to, well, going down the path of having a lot more, because they facilitate everything else. It seems like that is your entrance animal into homesteading, or at least that was the case for us. So we went from having chickens to we were given a goat, we were given some geese, we're growing that, and we are a raw milk family, especially on this health journey that we were taking. That really was good for our family. We had young kids at the time, our very young children at the time when we moved out to our little piece of property, and we loved our raw milk. So we got us some dairy goats, and it was pretty quickly after that my wife decided, dairy goats aren't really giving us what we want as far as volume. So we went shopping for a milk cow. Now, we found a milk cow, brought her onto the homestead. She should have been retired. However, she was great for us. She only had 2 working quadrants. She was pregnant. And about a week after we brought her onto our little farm, she delivered, and we now had a herd of cattle on our small acreage. And I feel like it's really important to say we might have had 7.5 acres, but only 4.5 of that was actually pasture that we were able to use for grass. So we had our cattle started, we had our milk, we were getting 3.5 gallons a day. She was milking twice a day. And that turned into a lot of milk for us, a little bit more than what we were able to consume every day. So what do you do with all that excess milk? You start making cheese products. Well, you have whey left over. What do you do with it? Well, I had the bright idea of bringing on pigs. We brought these pigs out, and they just went through this milk. Now, we started with a few commercial breeds. They were fast growing. Now, they were delicious. They were awesome, but they were a little bit hard to handle for our small scale operation. They were confined. They didn't do what necessarily we needed them to do, or they weren't being raised up the way we felt we wanted to raise these pigs. So after a few commercial breeds of going through those and kind of finding out what we didn't want, we came across this breed that we just fell in love with, and it is the American Guinea Hog. And this was the absolute apex of the homestead breed of pigs because they're a smaller breed of pig. They're a little bit slower growing. They are super docile and friendly, and they love their belly scratches, and they're great moms as well. So we brought on some breeding stock of American Guinea Hogs, and we were in business. They would go out, they graze, they pasture really well without rutting up or rooting up the pasture. So they would graze all day. They'd come in for dessert for their whey and milk and all our vegetable scraps, our kitchen waste. They would turn that into bacon and protein, but mostly bacon. So awesome that we were able to go that route. From that, we tried a lot of different things. We tried rabbits there. That really wasn't our forte with the young girls at that time. We decided we wanted to bring on some beef cattle. But again, we only had 4.5 acres. And what do you do with 4.5 acres when you want cattle? Well, we found the homesteader's dream, or I should say, not maybe the homesteader's dream, because there's homesteaders with quite a bit of property and pasture that they're able to graze. For us, because we were small acreage, we found the Dexter breed of cattle, and they fit for us perfectly. So we went in like all in on this rotational grazing because when we moved out to this piece of property and our health was the concern, we were really focused on grass-based, as beyond organic as you could go, right? We were really focused on a grass-based, grass-finished beef, and we found this guy. His name was Joel Salatin on YouTube, and he comes from Polyface Farms, and he is extremely well known in this movement. Was not well known to us at the time, but I was picking up everything this guy was preaching. Anything that he put in print, I consumed. Anything his name was associated with on video, I watched. I wanted to know everything that guy knew, and I don't even pretend to know anything that guy knows because he always seems to come up with great, new, innovative ways of pasturing and raising livestock. However, I went all in on this, and with some good field fence and some electrified netting, I was intensely mob grazing this 4.5 acres with 2 dairy animals. I think we had 3 or 4 Dexter cattle at the time. We were raising about 100 meat chickens a year. I was running 60 to 80 layers behind my livestock so they could scratch through all the manure and spread that out and fertilize behind them. Meanwhile, we had our pigs that were pasturing alongside our cattle, and big garden. Man, we were rocking and rolling on our little homestead. So why are we backyard homesteading now? There's a little thing called Hurricane Harvey that came around. And while our farm didn't flood, very, very fortunate that our farm didn't flood, we were evacuated and needed to be away for 9 days because we had no access to our property anymore because of the high water. Fortunately, we never lost power at the farm. I think we lost 1 chicken, and I'm pretty sure she died of a heart attack because of the stress. But out of all our animals, everything was able to manage itself because they didn't really need any of the inputs of feed every day and hay and pellets and cubes and all the other things that animals typically need and would starve without. Our guys kind of took care of themselves for 9 days. We had a round bell out there, so the cattle did have access to a round bell. That was just kind of by happenstance that was there. It worked out, and like I said, we lost 1 chicken that whole time. We did evacuate for 9 days. While we were gone, I was doing rescues with 2 different departments at the time, pulling people out of the high water. When I got off shift, I had to help my parents because they got 9 feet of water in their house. So we had to start the demo process on their place, and that was a lot of fun. So we got through with that. We were able to access our home. Everything was good. Now, one of the things that we did kind of get caught up in is we had a property that we were developing here in town that was going to be the focus of my wood shop, and it got 2 foot of water in the house and the shop. So we had to do some renovating here. It was decision time for us. We needed to make sure that we were going in the right direction for our family at the time. So we decided we were going to sell our farm because, one, it wasn't where we kind of needed to be at that time. We were developing this wood shop. Second, it was not the acreage that we knew we needed for our dreams and where we kind of wanted to end up. So it was a great time for us to sell that land, focus on renovating our house here in town, developing our wood shop. That's kind of the direction we had to go at the time. Our farm sold, our house is now renovated, my shop's finished and renovated. And in the hustle and bustle of getting all those things done, starting kind of a new business, our health started to kind of go down again. We weren't being able to nourish ourselves with things that we were getting right off our own property. We didn't realize that was happening until 2 things really developed. One, I had a severe knee injury that I got where it required surgery. And 2, our teenage daughter now started showing some of the same signs that my wife showed when she was a teenager, and it was all based off of the food she was taking in. So I was hit with knee surgery, the world was hit with a pandemic, and that was kind of the turning point of us going back to our way of thinking that we needed to start homesteading. So instead, and we looked all around for another piece of property and developing that and building that up, and we decided that would only be another stepping stone to where I needed to be, because fortunately I get to retire. Well, I'm eligible to retire in 2 years. And we don't know if this is the area that we're going to stay in. We don't know where God's going to lead us in that. So what we're going to do is we're going to really start where we are. And where we are right now is a ½ acre in town. And we decided we were going to start our homestead journey again right here in town. So we started with chickens again, right? And we're developing that. We brought in rabbits. I got my garden now. I've got some dairy goats again. Now, fortunately, I should say fortunately now, because it's going to keep the headache off me, but we don't have enough room to bring in cattle. And the city doesn't allow us to have pigs. So we are staying as closely regimented with our city ordinances as we can, and we're legal. We're doing everything the way we should, but we really want to establish a sustainable way and a scalable way of doing things here on a half acre that is supplementing our diet, really nourishing us with healthy foods again. And we've really come to a place where that's happening. And again, today I'm taking a break because I've been working a lot. I've got a lot of projects here and I'm getting tired, and which is naturally, you have to rest. The Bible says you need a Sabbath. By God, you need a Sabbath. You need to take a day off to rest, to let your body recuperate, let your mind catch up. And that's what I'm doing today. Having said all that, in biblical times, you still had to feed the donkeys and the sheep and the goats. Well, you still have to do things here on your backyard homestead. Animals need to be fed, things need to be done, but you're not attacking those big projects. So where does that bring us here on the homestead? Well, I couldn't accomplish any of this without Courtney. And Courtney, while in title, does not encompass everything she does, but she is a stay-at-home mom. That's not the greatest job title for her, but Superwoman, I think, is trademarked, so I can't use that one. Courtney does a ton of things managing a hectic home, especially since I am the epicenter of that hectic lifestyle. So homesteading really has to be kind of a family affair. Everyone needs to chip in, or things are not going to get done the way they need to get done. Like I said, again, I've been away from the house for so much. Courtney does a great job of managing the animals in the morning. Every morning she gets up, she does all the chores. Today I was working on another project while she jumped on the mower. The yard needed to be mowed because yard work's got to be done. So she was mowing the yard. My girls help out in the evenings. They do a lot of the evening chores. Ashlyn helps out a lot in the garden. Bailey does a lot of the inside dishes and cooking. So everybody's really chipping in. I list all that off. I work around here. Like, let's be fair, I do work around here. But my family does, man, they chip in a lot. And I'm so appreciative of Courtney and the girls for doing that, because that is just amazing and so stress relieving on me that I'm able to continue doing these projects around the house. I'm able to continue talking with you guys and trying to develop this channel to really share and educate and just bring people along our journey. And hopefully we're helping people out as we're doing that. So that means so much to me when I have a family that is really encouraging and supportive behind me and in front of me and beside me, and they're all chipping in for a common goal, and that's the homestead. So as I've said, I have the option of retiring here in about 2 years. Courtney's finishing up with her nutritional therapy practitioner certification. Now, if you don't know what that is like a holistic approach to health and wellness, and it's through nutrition. So that's right up our alley as far as the way that we really want to proceed and the way we want to live our lives. We're continuing to homeschool the girls. They are doing a fantastic job keeping up with that. Courtney's doing a fantastic job leading those girls through homeschool. I'm doing my best to support that. And we have big plans. We want to get a lot more property. We want to move out in the country again and start a homestead so that we can continue bringing people along on that journey. We can help educate while we're educating ourselves. And that's an important avenue that we want to proceed in. And one of the main focuses that I want to build this channel towards is showing how you can start on a backyard scale. You can really just start at where you are. I think I said Joel Salatin's one of my heroes earlier. I think he's got a book. I said I think I own the book. It's micro, Polyface Micro. I think that everything you should do should be scalable. So we're starting off on a small scale, and we hope to grow that onto a much larger scale on a bigger piece of property. But what better way of taking people along on that journey than starting where you are? And for us, that is on a half acre here in the neighborhood, in the city, and we're moving forward with that. So I have been chatting your ear off this whole time, and I am so appreciative that you have chosen to watch our channel. I hope you take this time to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, because that really helps the algorithm and allows our channel to go out to more people. We are so thankful, and I can't wait to show you some of the projects that we have in the works this summer. We're taking it on the road, I think, and going to be helping some other people start their backyard homestead journey. So that is really exciting for us. Stay tuned for that. make sure you, again, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on our next video. Thanks so much.